Hey everybody, welcome to Who Gives a Shit, the show where we ask the most important question. Who gives a shit? So, CJ, how's your week been going, man?
My week's been pretty good. I'm just getting used to this old folks home, and I've been playing poker on my phone, and I'm up about 250, which is the exact inverse. That's the exact inverse of what's been going on lately. I'm glad my luck is turning around. I still don't have a stimulus check, by the way. Joe Biden, where's my gambling money, bitch?
Yeah, he owes you that fucking money. Saw some pretty good memes about that type of shit where they're like, man, this dude be spending a lot of money on bombs who owes me money.
Oh, yeah. The black Twitter has been great with the he owes me money memes. Every time he posts a picture of the White House, they're all like, shit, that's some bomb-ass hardwood for a nigga that owes me $2,000.
Yeah, people forget that they promised $2,000 and then tried to clean it up later, going like, no, it's gonna add up to $2,000. Man,
dude, you know what happened to me?
When it comes to us getting money, they fuck us.
Yeah, what happened to me at a poker game is somebody called me a conspiracy theorist because I said it was supposed to be 2,000, and they were like, no, that's just a conspiracy theory. It's 1,400.
Oh, what the hell? Man, everything is documented. How are people's memories so fucking short? That was like the whole point of the Georgia election, or special election, when they were like, hey, if you vote for us, you get $2,000. It wasn't $2,000 with an asterisk.
Yeah, it's crazy how people just accept whatever narrative is in the media. I think that's why we started this show, to rag on those people specifically.
Yeah, basically. Wondering about all these people that give too little and too much of a shit. Oh, well, my week has been... God, it was hot today, man. It's like the first day where it's been hot. And, like, I had to cut off all my hair. Like, I do it, like, once a year. I shaved off my beard, I cut off all my hair, getting ready for the heat.
Now, I got a question for you. What's Texas hot?
Oh, well, the problem with Houston is that it is nasty, too. It's so fucking humid. The best thing about living in Houston is that when you go anywhere else, you feel comfortable. Because the humidity is just out of control. Like, you get... Like, if you stand outside for, like, 30 minutes, you're gonna get swamp ass. Like, it's so fucking bad.
Because, like, hot to me as a Michigander would be, like, 76. But I'm sure that's, like, mid-temperature for you, probably.
Oh, I wish it would just stay 76. Now, it hasn't started hitting, like, real heat yet. But, I mean, that's right around the corner where we're going to start getting, like, where it just stays, like, 90 or 100 degrees. Like, that happens every year.
Oh, man.
Like, It gets hot here in Texas, man. I'm kind of known for that type of shit. Oh, but let's get into some of our issues this week. We're going to be talking about Asian hate crimes. So we're going to do that one last, though, because give people a chance to tune out if they don't feel like hearing some politics. We're also going to be talking about the Donald Trump social media platform. We're going to be talking about Inside the Storm, the QAnon documentary, and bus drivers. So would you like to go first, CJ?
Yeah, I'll start out with the Trump social network, because there's really not a lot of info on this one, but I think the potential of it is enough to talk about. Now, do you want to play our favorite game and guess the news outlet for this one?
All right, hit me with it. All right, what's the headline?
Sources from Donald Trump's campaign announces that he will start a new social network that will, quote, change the game.
I'm going to say this is Fox News.
Nope, it's actually NBC is where this comes from.
Why there wasn't even anything talking shit about Trump? What the fuck? Oh.
No, but I will tell you something phenomenal about researching this before I brought it in. So when you go to the NBC website, NBCnews.com, there's columns and what the news is categorized as. Each news story is under its own column. So they have like economy, global news, and local news. And I found out they have a tab for Donald Trump. They're so obsessed with Donald Trump that they have an entire column category of just Trump stories on their website.
Of course they do. So Trump news warrants just as much a tab as the global news does. That's fucking great. Of course they do.
Dude, it's not even president anymore. It's insane how people are still obsessed with him, particularly the media. And that's going to be a theme throughout all my topics today, because the QAnon documentary too, it's based on the obsession with Trump. But yeah, since he's been banned on all networks virtually, he's starting a network of his own. And really, I kind of give a shit about this a little bit, but at the same time, my gut feeling tells me it's going to be a Fed trap. Kind of like how Parler was.
Oh, I could see that. Either that or they're going to botch up the fucking hosting and shit like that. God, I remember the fucking Wild West days of the internet where they got like servers that are like backdoored in Nigeria that, like some of the pirating websites back in the day did some insane shit to keep their servers up. And I got a feeling this dude's going to try to spend bottom dollar to get his fucking hosting.
Parler, by the way, is extremely cringe and gay. And they label themselves as a free speech website. But you actually, every time you post, you have to get your post approved by an admin before people can see it. And I have one Parler. That's what they call a tweet. They call it a parler, which is another stupid thing about that website. And after I saw the message that said, your post will be received after it's approved by an admin, I was like, oh, this is just like a Fed honeypot to catch all the people that are talking about saving the white race on this platform. Like, that's the sole purpose of this platform.
Why do they call it a parlor and not a parlay? What the fuck? What? I never started
call
a parlor.
Yeah. I would be more on board if it was a parlay as the fellow gambling addict. So they fucked up there for sure.
Yeah, man, I'm so glad that I don't deal with social media like at all, because like that would be some dumb shit if I actually, like, I don't know, you get like browbeat by your friends. They're like, no, you got to start a parlor to preserve free speech, bro. Yeah, right, man. There's plenty of places there where you can do that, but I guess Parler's just the one that got the most popular for being an alternative and shit like that. Like,
well, Gab, you have Gab, but that UI is about as effective as my legs are, so nobody uses that website.
Yeah, I never hear anybody plug in their Gab. I barely remember hearing people talk about that. And like, I think Minds was another one that would come up.
So I had a Gab way back in the day. This is Dick Masterson's very first Twitter ban. This was way before I even started podcasting. And if you do it on mobile, on your mobile phone browser, it would crash every time I liked a tweet. That would just crash the website. It's fucking garbage.
Oh my God. I don't really know what you're supposed to do if you're constantly getting banned off of social media for shit you're saying, because it's not like it takes a whole lot particularly. Sometimes it seems like they just put on a blindfold and cock a shotgun and just see what they hit. You, like, I don't know. It doesn't seem to have much rhyme or reason with shit.
My favorite Twitter jail moment was when I called a wheelchair. Some chick in a wheelchair was talking about voting blue or some garbage, and I just called her a stupid cunt. And they put me in Twitter jail for 48 hours for ableism. That shit was so fucking funny.
Oh my god. That is pretty damn funny. So do you think that Donald Trump is going to make any money off of this? How is he going to get his crop, man? That's what I'm curious about.
I want to believe in this, but there's just no way like the App Store and like Google Play are even going to allow this to be sold as an app.
You have to walk into a sharper image with your phone and they'll install the app on your phone there.
Now, what do you think this should be called? I like the idea of calling it Trumper, but
actually my To Catch a Redditors, they talked about what it should be called, and that's actually pretty funny.
Oh, fantastic. I can't wait to hear it. There's no like information on this at all as far as like, there's not a prototype. They don't have any marketing for it or anything like that. And I really think it's just one of those things that Trump wants to do, and he's just gonna talk about it forever and never do it. Kind of like building a wall.
You know, if he was smart, he would just lease his name and say that he's involved with it while another company just, starts up some whatever platform and use this as a jump off point. He could totally get money out of this.
I really think that it's going to be just totally blackballed from all the app stores and anywhere you can even buy an app, and they're just going to wipe it from existence. So I don't think it's a good business move, but I hope I'm wrong, because I would love a Trump-based social network, because the Q posting alone from the boomer retards, that would be enough for me to use it every day.
Oh man, I definitely would love to see some of the fucking shit posting that comes out of it, because they gotta have some spice in there. Those memes are gotta be fucking spicy. And anything that's too hot for people that makes their asshole burn, I always love that type of shit. There's something about me that just loves seeing people
And then, eventually you're gonna get banned. Like, it'll be basically Twitter, but because everybody is a hypocrite. So probably I'll make a joke about cuties and I'll get banned for that, for inciting child sexual abuse, because, just like the left called everything racist, the Christian right does that with the word pedophile.
Yeah, they really love throwing that out there. Pretty casually too. I'm sure someone will just be posting about their kids on Trump or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, look at my daughter, isn't she so cute?" They're like, banned for child porn. You need to stop your sex trafficking.
I guarantee you, if the right crowd heard my Woody Allen episode, I'm probably gonna be called a pedophile for that, just because I don't care that he bugs kids.
Oh man, my girl was going off when she was listening to the episode. She's like, "No, this is not okay," and I'm just laughing. Dude. I told her I needed to get on Amazon and buy her a pearl necklace so she could clutch him harder.
Oh, that's great. What did your girl not like about it? I'm more interested in that than the issue now. We're off topic.
Well, of course you're like, who cares if Woody Allen fucks kids? And she's like, oh my God. can you believe what he just said? I'm like, yeah, this crippled Jesus. He's gonna say what's on his mind and have no compunctions about it because nobody can tell him shit. He doesn't give a fuck. He just wants to watch a fucking movie. He's talked about this twice. How have you not understood this? It's just going like, oh no, 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 and I'm just dying laughing. And when I hit this weird laughter loop where I just can't hear anything anymore, and
this is my argument. I want you to ask your girl this after this episode. So, sure, Woody Allen raped a kid, whatever. But is that kid gonna make a movie as funny as any all? Just ask your girl that. I want to see what she says.
Oh, I'm sure she'll give you a nice scripted response. I'll play it for you and to catch a redditor.
Because I read Dylan Farrow's statement about her dad raping her in the attic. And there's not one funny joke in there. I read the entire thing, not one punchline in there. So she's not funny at all. But anyway, Trump is gonna make a social network, but it really just sounds like an empty promise. But I really do hope it happens.
I'd love to see it. Because it's going to be a dumpster fire I can't look away from. It's going to be so damn funny.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great. I love it.
All right. So, well, let me ask you a question, man. Who gives a shit about bus drivers?
I did for a while because I had to ride the bus. And it's a real mixed bag in terms of quality of bus drivers. We would get one that would... I had one that almost flipped my chair over while I was in it because they slammed on the brakes too much. And being on a wheelchair bus, the locks for the wheelchair are always on the back of the bus. So you really get the worst treatment on the bus, especially if you have a shitty driver. That shit is just it's like riding around in a bouncy car, but it never ends.
All right, so I got a quick question for you. Here's a headline about a bus driver, and I want you to guess where this happened. Bus driver flips off students, tells kids to go fuck yourselves before abandoning school bus at a gas station. Where do you think that happened?
I'm gonna guess probably a urban area. I'm gonna guess somewhere in Baltimore.
Damn, you're actually really not that far off. It's Pennsylvania.
No, okay.
This is a slightly older story. It's something that happened a couple of years ago, but I got reminded about this, and I decided to look a little bit more into bus drivers. Now, in this particular instance, this chick was totally in the wrong because she showed up like partially drunk and was swerving the bus all over the place and freaking Tokyo drifting this thing around the corner, and everyone started making fun of her, so she lost her shit and then gave the keys to the bus to the attendant at the gas station and just left. And but so you can't feel that bad for her, but there's plenty of other instances where these bus drivers have to put up with some of the most ridiculous shit. Like some of these kids are fucking hellions, and I couldn't do it.
Dude.
Like there's another one that happened somewhat recently, and this kid gets in a fight on the bus. And the bus driver stops the bus, starts walking back there, and this kid gets ashamed, so he buries himself in his hoodie. And when the bus driver's like, if you do anything like this again, you're off the bus. And the kid just flips off the bus driver and says, fuck you. And he's like, you're out of here. And I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, the type of shit that bus drivers have to put up with.
Not to derail your issue, but I do have a tale from the short bus that... it backs up your point that kids are crazy. So this might be a reoccurring segment. I don't know. I
So,
have a lot of stories from the short bus.
oh yeah, Tales from the Short Bus.
So this
All
this
right, so
tale, I'm gonna need to give a little context to the listeners before I tell the full story. So we had this kid named Marshall, and Marshall was extremely autistic. I'm pretty sure his official diagnosis with Asperger's is what he was diagnosed with.
oh yeah. So this
And his autism was he had a drawing pad. It was like a design pad, and he just had one pen, a number 2 pencil that he fucking revered. This pencil was God to him. He would carry it by his side all the time, and he loved that pad so much that he would attack anybody, like just ground and pound anybody that even touched the thing. And one day
damn.
and one day we got a new a bus driver attendance lady. The purpose of this job was she would help out the driver and just make sure that every kid got off the bus in time for school, that kind of thing, And nobody told her about Marshall's law that you can't touch his pad.
They call that Marshall's Law?
Marshall's Law, yeah, Marshall's Law.
Okay.
You can't touch Marshall's pad. He'll fucking kill you over it. Nobody warned her of this. And we got to Marshall's house, and he ran off the bus before grabbing his pad. And the lady thought she was doing a nice thing, so she touches his pad and says, "Hey, Marshall, you forgot this." Marshall turns around, looks at her, runs up the stairs back into the bus, tackles this lady, and just starts punching her. And now the bus driver is pulling Marshall off this lady and separating the two. It was fucking... And we had to wait for like an extra 30 minutes because the bus driver had to fill out a report. It was crazy to watch, man.
Damn, so what ended up happening? Did that bitch quit? Because I would pretty much say fuck this and not show up to work the next day.
They moved her to morning shift because Marshall, his parents would drive him to school, but they were at work when school was over, so he only used the bus to get back home from school.
Oh, what the... Damn.
So they just moved her shift.
Fuck. When I was looking at some of the shit that bus drivers have to put up with, there's some fucked up shit. Like, it's a part-time job because it's like a short shift in the morning and a short shift in the evening. But if you're a bus driver, it makes it so that you can't have another part-time job because of the way the shifts are divvied up. It makes it hard to get a second job because that job's not paying the bills. And it doesn't really have any benefits either, and the pay isn't all that great. And you have to have a commercial driver's license for this thing. So if you have a CDL, you might as well be an 18-wheeler driver or something like that. There's so many other like commercial driver jobs that pay way better. And also they've hamstrung the bus driver's ability to discipline anybody. Like they make it so you almost can't say anything to these kids.
Yeah, the coolest bus driver I knew, his second job was he was a piano player in like a blues band, and he would just do gigs all the time. And really, the bus was just a side job, if business wasn't going well. But that's how this guy made money, is he would just do bar gigs.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that works. But damn. Old Normie is going to have a real problem finding another job if they're just a bus driver too. And
there was all kinds of weird laws that guys have to follow too. I remember like he wanted to get my number because we used to talk all the time. Like it was he was a pretty big baseball fan, so we would just talk the Tigers all the time when I was on there. and we eventually got pretty acquainted. And at the end of the year, he asked for my contacts, but he was like, I can't get a picture of you for the contact picture because the company considered that child pedophilia if I have a picture of one of the kids on my phone. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man?
Damn.
That's fucking weird.
You know, and not just school bus teachers, but people that just drive the regular buses. There's so many videos of people that are just having to suddenly like turn Super Saiyan and hit someone with a tiger uppercut and throw them off the bus from just the general public doing some crazy ass shit on the bus. Like, really, I think more people should give a shit about bus drivers because they have to put up for so much shit for how much they get paid.
Yeah, most of the bus drivers I know were really cool dudes. So I would agree with that. More people should give a shit about them.
All right, well, that's really all I got to say about bus drivers. You want to get in to Catch a Redditor?
Absolutely, my favorite segment. Let's go.
Oh, To Catch a Redditor. So, let's see. This one is about Asian hate crimes. Here we go.
Posted on r/I am a total piece of shit, replying to New York Daily News. You mother effing Asian. A 68-year-old man was punched in the face by the now wanted attacker at Franklin Street stop of number 1 train. He's in critical condition. A man who helped said, "If I saw this happen again, I would do the right thing."
Oh my God. Like, if I was there, that situation would not have transpired the way that it did. But actually, I take that back because that dude was there. Be like, well, you know, thinking back upon it, maybe I should have done something a little different.
I always wish, like, I get caught up in a public fight and they interview me on the news and ask, what did you do? And I'm just like, well, I really wish I would have recorded it better, you know, because having the phone vertical, it's kind of hard for everybody to see. I wish I would have got it on a horizontal angle instead.
Yeah, that'd be a public service announcement too. All these vertical videos are out of control. Nobody wants to see that shit.
Oh, I hate them. I fucking hate vertical World Star fight videos. They suck ass.
Yeah, they totally do. All right, so here's another To Catch a Redditor about Asian hate crimes.
Level 1 vagabond posted on r/I am a total piece of shit. Honestly, I was expecting most of these hate crimes to be done by white Americans, but shocking, almost every single one I've seen is from an African American man in his early 20s or younger. I'm not American, so I'm confused why there is such an increase in black on Asian crime if most of the racist movements in the U.S. seem to be white. Dumb Cranky Bitch responded, "Why is it shocking? Does it really surprise you that not every hate crime is done by someone who's white? Seems pretty racist to assume if a hate crime is committed, it has to be a white person committing it."
Yeah, that kind of hit the nail on the head on how some of these people look at shit.
Yeah, it's almost like the narrative that white people do everything bad in this country. Is it really true?
Yeah, that's definitely true. But I'm going to get a little bit more into that whenever I start talking about the Asian hate crime stuff. So let's go ahead and keep on going. This one is about QAnon.
Posted in r/Q Ultimate Headquarters. Blue-Eyed Me says, one part I found interesting how was most of the Anons had never been on 8chan, and some weren't aware of the level of depravity there, including child porn. I hope that's a wake-up call. Also, tracing the history and showing links to Anonymous and other similar conspiracies puts Q in context. It's not new or original.
So we're actually going to get into the way they describe 8chan, because the way this documentary opens explaining what 8chan it is so boomer tone deaf that I just had to bring it into the show.
Oh, yeah. What is this 8chan? Who is this 8chan? I know they fucking got it wrong.
What happened to the other 7chans? Were they murdered by white supremacists? Probably.
Must have. All right, so that's just the name of that fucking subreddit, r/ultimate Q headquarters.
That sounds like a bad. That sounds like a bad Taco Bell meal.
Oh, damn! All right.
Let me get an ultimate Q headquarters with the extra large Baja Blast.
Yeah, that definitely will blow out your ass. Fuck. All right, so this one's about the Donald Trump Twitter, or his social media platform.
From r/TrumpGret, Aoki Hagani post, $50 that he somehow gets suspended from his own platform. MJZ Man post, prediction, it's going to look and work exactly like Twitter, except the primary color will be red. Second prediction, Twitter will sue.
You know, that kind of sounds plausible.
Oh, I see the Twitter definitely suing, but I think the primary color is going to be gold, not red.
Oh, yeah, gold on black.
Yeah, Trump fucking loves that gold on black combo. It's almost on everything he does. He loves it.
Yeah,
man.
oh, I think you're right about that. Well, here's another To Catch a Redditor about the Trump social media platform.
Posted on r/Trumpbook. Suggestions for Donald Trump's social media platform. Onlybands.com. Users must prove they were kicked off mainstream platforms for being too patriotic. Onlyclans.com and exhibita.com.
Only clans. Only clans is definitely where everybody would want to flock to. Oh, God. Well, that has been To Catch a Redditor. So what's your last topic that you're bringing in for today, CJ?
So HBO has really been hitting it out of the park lately with these bullshit documentaries. I first bought in the Woody Allen one, and this next one I'm bringing in is called Into the Storm, and it is a documentary on QAnon. Now, do you want to guess who is responsible for QAnon? I have a little pop quiz for you.
White supremacists, of course.
Well, it is, but it is white supremacy. A, Trump's fault. B, Trump's fault. Or C, Trump's fault.
Oh, man. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about this. I'm going to have to blame it on the Jews.
This documentary is absolutely hilarious. It starts out by explaining what 8chan is, and then they literally say 8chan is an image board where users post image, and they have everything from diaper porn to Christianity.
I mean, they're not wrong, but they don't capture the spirit of what any of the chans are. Like,
it's just like
it's like impossible. It's impossible to describe this shit to a normie.
Yeah, it's the most boomer thing ever. And then they interview these Q-tards, and then they have one that's like a Jersey guy, and this dude just looks like Christopher Moltisanti from The Sopranos. And he's sitting there with his wife, who's like Adriana, but with red hair. And he's just like, "Ayo, we're taking over the deep state over here. They're coming after all my gabagool. And I'm not going to let it happen."
What the fuck?
It's hilarious, dude. And he talked about how he voted for Obama twice, but then he watched some grifter bitch on YouTube. They call them Q-tubers. That's what they call them. And they explain every Q drop. That's their living. Like, they just explain Q in great detail. And there's this one that I have to bring in. So there's this theory that Q is not a, they go through all kinds of theories of who Q is. There's one guy that says Q is Steve Bannon. The Jersey guy believes that Q is a team of people and not just one person. But the guy that I want to focus on, this QTuber guy, his name is, something like Deplorable Patriot is this guy's name. And he thinks Q is Donald Trump himself. And his reasoning for that is that Donald Trump's presidential baseball jersey has the number 17 on it. And Q is the 17th letter on a Microsoft keyboard.
What the?
I believe all of it, absolutely. Well,
Okay. That tracks. Sure. So, all right. So, for the people that don't know anything about Q, how do you describe this to normies? Like, because I mean, the conspiracy goes so damn deep, and there's so many fucking twists and turns. Like, I know a decent amount of it, but I can't keep track.
Really, the best way I would describe it is Q is a person who is close to Donald Trump that would release information about the government, supposedly, right? This is what they believe.
Yeah.
On 8chan. And he would use these code words. And one of the code words is Q, just wait and watch. That's one of the code words that Q invented. And this is just based on these retards misunderstanding a word that Trump said. So there was a press conference, and there's like, the Jersey guy actually said this. He's like, yeah, you can totally tell that Trump says Q, just wait and watch. And it's like, Madon, what will these baby eaters do next? They're eating baby fetuses like my grandmother baked ziti.
What the fuck?
It's dude, it's crazy. And what their thing is there's a press conference, and Trump says, we're gonna win, you just wait and watch. And they mistake the you just wait and watch for Q. And they're like, he said it. He said Q. See, Q is real. He said Q, just wait and watch.
I get. Okay. So, how many conspiracy theorist friends do you have?
I have quite a few. I mean, I would consider myself a conspiracy theorist. Now, I don't believe in Q, but there's quite a few conspiracies that I am.
All right. So, how many conspiracy theorist friends do you have that also drank the Kool-Aid?
Just about every one of them.
Oh man, that is a rough way to live. Like,
yeah,
there's so many conspiracy theories out there. They don't mash up with one another, and I don't know what causes people to latch on to stuff like that. Because even if all this shit is true, so fucking what? What the fuck are you gonna do? Go run in the Capitol building and take a shit on Nancy Pelosi's desk and then jack off on AOC's shoes?
One of my favorite conspiracy friends that I know, he's a poker friend of mine, and he is into that Black Israelites where every historical figure ever is black. Like, he's told me that Henry VIII is black and Shakespeare is black and Babe Ruth is black. Everybody is black. It is one of my favorite things to talk about.
Oh, man, some of the Black Israelite people are, oh man, like how they charge people up on the streets. That shit's that is strange. Like, of all the things, that's one of the easier things to be like, well, here's a picture of Babe Ruth. Doesn't look black. Like, nah, man, you got it wrong.
Well, what do you mean, Adam? You don't know a lot of black guys named William Shakespeare? That's That's not
No,
a
the black guys
name.
I know,
You're telling
the
me?
black guys I know go by Fifth Ward. They got a gold tooth and a bald head. I know like 5 of them. Oh man, I don't.
But no, this Q thing, it's not only funny just because of the Q tabs, but it's just like the journalists that are reporting on this are so out of touch with internet. And the main underlying theme of this documentary is that we need to legislate boards like 8chan and 4chan because I'm all for freedom of speech, except when it goes too far. That's the whole point of this documentary. Q is freedom of speech, but it's gone too far.
I got a lot of problems with people like that. I'm a free speech absolutist, man. You should be able to say whatever the fuck you want, so long as you're not like trying to incite violence on people or something like that. Like that's about where I draw the line. And that what's so damn sad. Oh, all right. Look, I'm going to get into that a little bit later because then in my topic I have something that's that's a similar sentiment. But if people really don't know anything about Anonymous, I do have a suggestion. There is a pretty good book about Anonymous called We Are Anonymous by Parmi Olson. And it's about LulzSec. And this was a splinter group that came out of an anonymous board, and they went on a hacking spree. And that shit was too damn funny to read about. Like they hacked PBS's like Twitter feed and made a fake news story saying that Tupac Shakur had just died in New Zealand. And they took down the CIA's website for like a day, and where they fucked up was they took down the equivalent of like the I guess it would be the FBI's website of the UK. They managed to hack that. And most of these people were British, and there was 1 New Yorker guy and 2 never got caught. And it's a really good way to show how these people look at these bad actors in the world and just decide that they're just gonna fuck back. These people are fucking with other people, so they're gonna fuck with these people. It all started from the H.B. Gary, like, intelligence leak that happened. And this guy said that he was gonna be able to dox anybody that was anonymous, and so they broke into his shit and they stole everything. They hacked his World of Warcraft account and stole all his shit. They got his emails, everything. And they stole all his company's files just to show that this dude is an intelligence contractor, has no fucking idea what he's doing.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty funny that everybody that's in high places in the year 2021 doesn't know how to send an email.
Yeah, the lockdown really showed that. All these boomers having to actually try to figure out how to use a computer. They've only had, fucking 15 years to actually try to use a fairly modern computer. It wasn't until they absolutely had to that they try to figure it out.
Well, I figured out that I'm smarter than most people with a doctorate's degree simply because I can hit the mute button on Zoom.
Oh, shit. Well, let's get into the last topic of the day. And I'm going to give everyone fair warning on this one, because this is a political issue that I'm bringing in. And I did a bunch of research into this. And this is one of the ones where I'm talking about who gives a shit. It's actually a little bit serious. A little serious, man. So, skip to the end of the voicemails or something like that if you really don't want to hear shit about politics. And I mean, I do eventually get somewhat conspiratorial because there's so many bad actor people that I don't know how else to think about it. So, alright, CJ, let's play our favorite game. Who do you think wrote this article? Here's how I found it. Someone talked about Asian hate crimes, so I typed in Google Asian hate crime stats, and this was the first result. Why hate crime data can't capture the true scope of anti-Asian violence. All right, so who wrote that article?
I'm gonna say it's not a guy that we know. It's some journalist. It's some federal agent warping as a journalist. and they're just waiting for the chance to pass like a Patriot Act 2.0 because somebody said ching chong on Twitter.
Well, hey, guess what? You're not wrong. It's CNN.
Oh, shit! Chink News Network. I knew it was them.
Oh, these motherfuckers here. And this article was so fucking bad. Like, I read the whole thing. They basically said that hate crimes reflect power dynamics within a society, and that if former President Donald Trump can legitimize bias through his own rhetoric, then people feel as if their bigotry and hate crimes are condoned. And then they keep on going on saying that like hate crimes are underreported and that the stats out there don't capture the true scope. But that's also an open-ended statement. Like, it was such a fucking bullshit article. So I saw that, and that piqued my interest. I'm like, there has to be more to this. Like, why did all this pop up all of a sudden? Why is it that everybody is talking about it? And yeah, there's a shooting, but this is one of those things you think they would crop up and they'd immediately tamp down because the anti-Asian hate crime stuff doesn't track as well as other hate crimes do. So I started looking at all the articles. MSNBC, basically they blamed all this on Trump saying China virus to weaponize hate. Colombian News said that Tuesday's attack was a consequence of former President Donald Trump's administration's anti-Asian rhetoric. And as Trump dubbed COVID-19 the Kung Flu and blamed its spread on China. What the fuck?
I like, let me just say, Kung Flu is not the best name for the virus. It's the Shanghai Shivers. That's the best thing to call this thing. And also, if they're blaming Trump for the Asian hate, Trump does a really piss poor job of hating Asians because everything that guy slaps his name on is also made in China. So I really don't think he hates the Asians at all.
I really don't think so either. Although I could see why he would hate China as a country because of their trade policies. He's a businessman. And China runs a stiff deal. They've been negotiating the trade for, they're like, I was tracking the tariff deals and the trade deals for a while because the stock market would swing like 5 points one way or the other based on these trade negotiations. And it's such a huge deal. But he would make fun of China as a way to get under these people's skin to try to drive them to the negotiating table. And like people hated, like these newspapers hated him for that. Like The Guardian said that this shooting happened because Donald Trump's xenophobic description of the coronavirus is the Chinese virus. The New York Times said that activists and elected officials say attacks were fueled early in the pandemic by former President Donald J. Trump, who frequently used racist language to refer to the coronavirus. That's pretty dumb.
Yeah, that makes my head hurt, man. He just called it the China virus because it came from China. It had nothing to do with Chinese people. Like, I know they're being retarded on purpose to try to get the narrative out there that Donald Trump is a Bond villain. But it's like, there's a Nile River flu, and you know why it's called that? Because it comes from the fucking Nile River. Just like the China virus comes from China. It's not that hard to explain. It came from a lab in Wuhan. That's where this virus originated.
I wouldn't be surprised. Really, we don't know. We don't know for sure, other than it definitely came from fucking China. We know that for a fact. And
I tend to believe it is a conspiracy still, but I tend to believe it. Because the woman who worked in that lab went on Tucker Carlson, and then about a week later, she was found mysteriously dead in a ditch.
I'm not going to rule it out, but, there's some things where I'm okay with going like, I don't know, that's plausible. This whole idea that, like, language can be violence and, like, that I don't get. Because, I mean, I was in high school when 9/11 happened. And when that happened, there was so many attacks on, like, people that even looked Asian. There's even a shooting at a Sikh temple against Indian people because of 9/11. People were fucking pissed. And people do ignorant, dumb shit because you have ignorant, dumb people in the public. And, I mean, it's fucked up that it happens, but, I mean, I don't know. The way that they've spun this, it just reeks really badly. Now, there are people that reported on it fairly, like Politico. They talked about the major stats of it and reasons you should be concerned about hate crime in general. All right, fair enough. That was a good article. That actually restored my faith in humanity a little bit, where I'm like, oh, thank God people aren't just spouting off dumbass shit to hate on Donald Trump. But, I mean, there's a lot of weird conflation that's going on. Like, so one of the reasons that this stuff got out there is this group called Stop AAPI Hate. And it's like the anti-Asian Pacific and like whatever. But they have their own report line. And so people can just call up this line and report a hate crime against Asian people. They've been collecting data since March 19th of 2020. And on their initial, like, setting a report, it stopped on February 28th, 2021. And during that time, they had 3,963 hate crimes. Or at least, actually, I take that back. That's all hate crimes that the FBI reported last year. They found 3,795 incidences that they are basically calling hate crimes. That's all that's right next to all the hate crimes last year. All those are definitely not hate crimes. And when you look at their reports, some of the things that they say are hate crimes are people calling up a Chinese restaurant and saying, stop giving people the China virus, and then hanging up the phone. That's not a fucking hate crime.
No, that's pretty funny. Can I ask, do you have this number? Because just the other day at the grocery store, I ran into a hot Chinese woman and she didn't give me a happy ending. So I would like to file a hate crime report for that.
I didn't think to jot it down. Oh my God. Now, let me ask you a question, CJ.
Sure.
In 2019, who do you think had the most hate crimes waged against them? There was 1,930 hate crimes against this particular ethnicity. Who do you think it was?
I'm gonna have to go with the Jews.
You know, based on the way that it gets talked about all the time, that sounds like that would make sense, but no, it's the blacks.
Whoa.
Blacks have the most
Wow.
hate crimes perpetrated against them because there's just a lot of people that really hate black people. And it's sad. It is. It's really sad. Now,
I mean,
Asians aren't even in the top 3. So in 2019, there were 158 anti-Asian hate crimes. They were like single offenses. Now get this, CJ. The next group of people that were next to that were the disabled at 157 offenses.
I was trying to get you know what happened, Adam? I filed most of those. So I would with my family up north, and I was trying to get some ice cream. You know, I really wanted some moose tracks. I was hoping to get a couple of scoops with, and maybe have a laugh with my family. I got there, and I find out that the ice cream shop has stairs, and I can't get in. So I just filed like 1,000 hate crimes against that business.
Well, it had to be 157 because that's how many were out there. One less than Asian people, by the way. And there's the stats on these things are really blown out of proportion because 90% of these anti-Asian hate crimes are people harassing people or denying them service to a business. Most of them are nonviolent. The vast majority of them are nonviolent. But if you look at the hate crimes against Jewish people, for instance, like about a third of those things are violent. Those are people getting their ass beat. And in New York City, the Jewish population and the Asian population are about the same. And there were a fifth as many hate crimes against Asian people as there were against Jews. And 5 Jews got murdered over hate crimes in New York City. And there were 0 Asian people that got murdered over a hate crime. Like, Jewish people are way more likely to get targeted by a hate crime than Asian people. The Asian people are some of the least likely to get targeted by this. And I'm going to get into why a little bit later, because there is a long history about this type of thing. Now, while I was looking into all this stuff, I came across something that actually shook me a little bit. This is the Brookings Institution. The Brookings Institution had a blog post, which is basically the way that they publish their articles, by Dr. Rashawn Ray. And this article was utter shit. Really, really bad. I don't know if this dude is just a useful idiot or if he is some sort of weird deep state political activist, because it doesn't make any sense. So this Dr. Rashawn Ray, he works as the director for the Lab for Applied Social Science Research, LASSR. And the LASSR's goal is to aim to partner and collaborate with government entities, organizations, and businesses to better address their issues. And, that sounds innocent enough, but they also want to talk about, like, changing public policy, and through their, what they consider their research. And the Brookings Institute is also a nonprofit organization based in Washington, D.C., whose mission is to conduct in-depth research that leads to new ideas for solving problems facing society at the local, national, and global level. Man, tell me that doesn't sound like some crazy deep state shit.
Oh yeah, Patriot Act 2.0. Here we come.
Oh, I hope it doesn't lead to that, because I remember what that shit was like. And also, this dude teaches at the University of Maryland, and, hashtag knows operators. Maryland is a spooky place. And
they're gonna put a tracker on my chair, and they're gonna be able to shut it off remotely, just like GM does with all their cars.
Maybe. But so this guy, the article that he wrote is, why is it so hard for America to designate domestic terrorism and hate crimes? And what this guy considers domestic terrorism and a hate crime is fucked up. Like, there was a shooting at the University of Maryland, and the judge threw out the hate crime charge because they didn't have enough proof. This guy started bitching and moaning because he was like, this guy was linked to white supremacist groups on social media, and he had racist memes on his phone. He should have been charged with a hate crime and a domestic terrorist. I'm like, what the fuck? What kind of bullshit is this? This guy's basically asking for more surveillance and make it easier for domestic terrorism charges. Like, that is such a bad idea. The government is in our life, bad enough as it is, and you want to increase domestic terrorism laws. And this guy's argument is that all these domestic terrorist organizations are all white supremacist groups, and that's how he's trying to push this thing. And his
can I just give a statement to Dr. Rashawn Ray for a second?
Oh yeah, go for it.
I'm about to add a +1 to your domestic terrorist stat. You ready? How do you know that the Chinese moved into your neighborhood? The Mexicans start buying car insurance.
Oh my god.
Boom. Domestic terrorist right here. Crippled Jesus, #1 domestic terrorist in America. Put me on your list.
Yeah, expect to get served papers in the mail for a hate crime. And but this dude argues that you wouldn't, because he says, this is a quote from the article. It says, this is because America over-individualizes and normalizes domestic terror incidents, particularly when committed by white men. But some law enforcement have the limited capacity to actually process these incidents as hate crimes. Many people engage in self-justification by classifying racist actions as normative and justifiable. To some people, white supremacy ideology is normalized without them even realizing it. Can you fucking
Wait, how can you normalize white supremacy without people knowing about it. Isn't it the whole point of normalization that people are aware of it and they're okay with it?
Also, he's talking about, like, prosecuting someone that's a criminal. The dude is, like, that is not normalized at all. It's enemy. The dude is, like, you're already breaking mores and shit like that. How the hell is that normalizing anything? And, you know, he talks about the guy that shot up the massage parlor. And he's like, this dude is definitely a domestic terrorist, definitely racist. He might have been sexist. And there's no proof that this massage parlor was linked to sex trafficking or sex work. It's like, come the fuck on, dude.
If anything, the most offensive part of that shooting is that he did kill a lot of Asian massage girls. And that attacks me personally. I'm personally offended by that. Because now Shywing May is going to charge more for a hand job because of your actions, sir. So I hope you're proud of yourself.
Yeah. Well, this Ray guy, man, he wants to expand hate crime laws and domestic terror laws because of white supremacist groups being tied to domestic terror. This dude is such a fucking short-sighted moron. And this guy's like race-centric bias makes him blind to the gender point. They could easily point this guy as a hate crime just based on gender, but I don't know why they want to focus on the race aspect of it. Probably because the media wants to brag on Trump. And they also could bring up the fetishization of Asian women, but, you know, some people have, but not all the time.
Oh, that's my wheelhouse, Adam. Pun intended.
Oh, yeah, fetishizing.
That is my wheelhouse.
Come the fuck up, dude. Oh my god. Oh man, this Rashawn Ray guy. I maybe want to start watching more of his like interviews and shit like that, because he's written for like CNN and the Washington Post and Huffington Post. This dude's done speaking panels on CNN. I'm like, I really want to know more about this guy. He's making this white supremacist point about law enforcement, and he is so short-sighted on that because #knows Nazis, guess what? White supremacists like Asians. Some consider them honorary whites, like they like them. They just, you know, want to think about the white children or some shit like that, but they don't mind them living next door. And, you know, in the stats about the hate crimes, 1/3 of all the hate crimes against Asian people are committed by black people. And that's just a fact. That's a stat that's out there. And if you enhance these like hate crime laws, guess what the second most like offended group of people is from hate crime laws? Like who was victimized the most? The second most?
I'm going to say Jewish people again, or maybe women.
Nope. White people at 15.8%. There are times that people hate white people and will target them. And you know what? The justice system acknowledges that. If you open these doors, you don't know where it's going to lead. You don't want to give the law more power like this because you're going to give them a hammer and they're going to look around and everything is going to look like a fucking nail. You don't want to do that. And
yeah, also, it's going to get to the point where the jokes that we make on this show are going to be considered a hate crime.
Yeah, like the courts would slap shit like that down because they vigorously defend the First Amendment. But you're going to have to go through all this fucking hubbumarule about it. And this is not the time to be trying to argue for that type of shit either. Be trying to say that like white supremacists are targeting Asians. Look, in 1966, there was a term coined called the model minority. Racists basically said that Asians are hardworking and educated, and they don't commit crimes, and they don't rely on welfare. And that was their argument for why blacks and Hispanics are like an inferior race. It was real fucked up shit. And you know, racists have actually pointed to Asian people to try to promote eugenics and race realism IQ for the longest time. It's not the hill to die on. they really fucked this one up. And I don't get where they're going with this. But, there's going to be another shooting right around the corner. They're going to be focusing on something else. Of course, they're talking about gun bans. Actually, there was another shooting that happened in Colorado, like, yesterday. And...
Oh, yeah,
like,
in Boulder, Colorado. Yep.
Yeah, it's already another shit show, and they didn't release this guy's name for a long time. Although he at first I thought he was white, but it doesn't appear to be that way. So I'm sure we're going to be talking about that for a week now too. But we'll see where it goes. But I'm more impressed
that I'm more impressed that an Asian man can shoot at someone that's far away. Maybe the squinting in their eyes helps them aim the gun a little bit better, but I don't know. I'm impressed.
Well, this guy has a lot of vowels in his name and doesn't. I'll tell you what, the dude that shot at Boulder doesn't sound like he has a Christian name, as they say. But let's get out of this topic, man. We've been going a little heavy for a little while. So you want to? I
could lighten it up before we get to the voicemails. If you want to hear another story time.
Oh shoot, man!
Crippled Jesus here. So I don't even hate Asians, and I know I'm supposed to because they're gonna own us in like 2 years. But there's this Asian guy I play poker with. He's from Hong Kong. He's bad at English. He kind of speaks English, but not really. And this dude is a Chinese spy for the Chinese government. And we all know. But he's just such a cool guy to be around that we don't even care. It's fine. And one time I beat this guy out for $400 in a poker hand at the room. And he said one of the funniest things that's ever been said. Oh, yeah. He said, "Ha ha, you lucky white boy beat me at math." And I just thought that was so fucking funny.
Oh, damn.
I still miss that guy because he used to take me to the hookah bar and ask me about how to get a white woman. And I'm just like, man, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm into jungle bunnies. And he had never heard that word. He was like, oh, jungle bunnies, like the Bugs Bunny, and I'm like, no, I like black chicks, and he's like, oh. It was
God,
really funny.
Yeah, how the hell do you explain that to a Chinaman? But
dude, I love the Chinese. Shout out to my man Charles. I love you, dude. I haven't seen you in since the beginning of this lockdown shit, but wherever you are, I fucking love you, man.
All right. Well, let's start getting into the voicemails. So, of course, if you want to follow us on Twitter at WGA Shit Show, stands for Who Gives a Shit Show. Also, if you want to give us a call, go ahead. It's 281-747-6015 and let us know who's giving a shit. So here is our first voicemail of the week.
Hey, Adam. Hey, CJ. Logan from Detroit.
Oh, what's up, Logan?
I was calling in about something I keep seeing pop up every couple of months on Twitter, and it's race swapping in fan art. Okay, so you got a white character, right? You want to draw him black? Cool, right? You got a black character. You want to draw him white? Everyone loses their fucking mind. Okay, now I just have to ask: do you think any fictional person of color drawn anything other than darker is inherently racist? So, love the podcast. Like to hear what you guys have to say about it. Or not. Who gives a shit?
I don't really think it matters all that much, me, myself, personally. Now, I know that people are going to autistically read because people are very particular about their characters. Like, there's some
especially anime fans.
Doesn't matter.
Anime fans, really, that's a code word for autism.
Yeah, basically. Now, I do know that people get all butthurt whenever you try to make someone that's like an ethnic character white. They talk about like whitewashing and shit like that. They'll go off on that type of shit. But, if if someone's racial identity isn't integral to the character and it never really comes up, I don't really think it matters, so long as you don't really bring it up and you don't really try to play into it. It never really bothered me all that much, but it does.
I'm taking the opposite angle. I'm going to take the opposite angle that you have just because it's funny. I propose that the next Black Panther be a Cholo Mexican. And they just call it Black Panther still. That's what I want to see. That. George Lopez as the Black Panther. Write it up, Marvel. He hasn't had a gig in a while. He needs one.
Yeah. All right, here's our second voicemail of the week.
Hey, I wanted to let you guys know I really appreciate your little bit there on Redditor. That's just hilarious. Reddit is just full of retarded, idiots that hate Trump, and if you're anti-mask, they dogpile on those. They're just a bunch of douchebags. So keep up the good work. Later.
Yeah, Reddit's full of a bunch of shitheads. That's why I don't go there and touch the poop. I'd get shit on me. I really realized when,
when I first called into the Dick Show, the Reddit fucking hated me. And then I started to think, man, do I suck? And then I got DMs from people on Twitter and Facebook, and it's like, oh my God, CJ, that was so funny, that one call-in that you did. I hope you call in again, man. And I just realized that Reddit they start forums for things just to hate on them. And they advertise it as like it's a fan board, but they don't. They just hate the thing that they're a part of. It's really weird.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, I'm really glad this guy likes to catch a Redditor because, the well is never going to dry up on this. It's just not. Yeah, there's too much retarded shit out there on Reddit.
It's the bit that keeps on giving. We're going to do it forever. It's my favorite.
Yeah, well, it looks like that's all we got for this week, AJ. Got anything to plug or anything to say before we sign off?
I do have 2 things to plug. The first one being, I don't know if you'll hear it by the time this show comes out, but actually tomorrow I'm going to record Shitty Song of the Week with my buddy Brendan, and I will be on that show, and I will be bringing in a shitty song that we will dissect. And my second plug is once again our buddy Rich Dickman, who not only is the producer for this show, really ties everything together on the audio side, but he is helping me out with my song clips for Shitty Song of the Week this week. So, props to him. He's got an awesome show, The Rich Dickman Show. You can check him out at richdickmanshow.com and listen to his podcast. Even if you don't want to listen to the full podcast, just download the podcast for us.
Yeah, or also go to patreon.com/richdickman. Give, man, dude works hard as fuck. He deserves it. And
he's
also
a great worker, man. I got nothing but respect for the guy.
Yeah, one thing that's been instrumental in actually keeping my mind critical for this show is Roast Mortem Cast, patreon.com/roastmortemcast. A fantastic podcast for, it's either the dumbest smart show or the smartest dumb show. I haven't quite figured that one out yet. But that's all I got for this week, so let's go ahead and sign off. So, I'm Adam from Houston.
And I'm Cripple Jesus. Stay horny, everybody.
See ya.